my wife told me this weekend that allegedly, it's a rumor, there's a Miss Doubtfire remake with Will Smith as Miss Doubtfire and Zoe Saldana as his ex-wife.
No.
George just said
it's a perfect. I like Will Smith is.
Why would you remake that?
Will Smith is doing it for the bag. Yeah, you think it's
just
it's
leave
suck.
Some movies you leave alone, right?
That's That's gonna be weird. Mrs. Doubtfire in 2024 is going to be interesting.
I love how
when
you
was
said
that made?
no.
What was that made? Like 96?
It was the 90s.
Yeah, and it was like before. Yeah,
right.
That's going to be weird.
It's
Mrs.
gonna be
Doubtfire
weird.
in 2024.
It's just a rumor. We shall see. But my wife told me that, and I had the same reaction as you. No.
It's a great movie.
No.
And it was Robin Williams, one of the all-time greats.
Hey, send us your emails, the chat at Nesson.com. Our guy Roy from South Boston sent us one. He asked, what will Jayson Tatum have to do to surpass Paul Pierce in the all-time Celtics rankings?
I like that because Paul Pierce is top 5.
Yeah.
And it's like, is Tatum even in the top 10? Now, like numbers, stats talent, score. Think of Tatum. 4-time All-NBA, first team the last 3 seasons. This is his 5th Eastern Conference Finals. Led him to the finals once. Is flirting with top 5 MVP voting. Right, and only 7 seasons in, how good he is, too. So much left. Once he gets a ring, to me, he passes Paul Pierce. Because think of Paul Pierce, 3 Eastern Conference Finals, 1 finals win.
A lot of losing seasons for Paul Pierce before the end, remember?
He played 79 games in 2006, and the Celtics missed the playoffs.
Right.
And not until you got Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen
I'm saying.
And do the big
a lot of
three
losing.
that
He had the numbers, but a lot of losing.
4-time All-NBA, 1-time first team for Pierce. I mean, Tatum, once he gets a ring, he passes Paul Pierce.
I think he's already passed him, but I think the ring
You need a ring. You need a ring.
Yep.
But you can't say like what Paul Pierce did in those postseasons.
That's right.
And even think about 2010 finals loss to Kobe and the Lakers.
Right.
2012 Eastern Conference Finals run into LeBron and the Heat. So who knows? Maybe Paul Pierce has another ring in there. But those teams that they ran into, which is the same thing you could say for Tatum. Maybe he has a ring if they don't run into Steph and the Warriors in a revamped team, right?
Yeah, I just think Tatum in general, you need one ring to be in all these conversations. Not only all-time great Celtics, but all-time great basketball players, period. Now, if he can get multiple rings like his idol Kobe Bryant, the late, great Kobe Bryant, then you could be having different conversations with Jayson Tatum all time. Not just Celtics lore, I mean ever. But, you got to get one at least to enter the chat, if you will. So, but I think he's already better than Paul Pierce. I'm not going to lie to you. I already believe all time I would have Jayson Tatum over Paul Pierce, but you must get the ring to even really have that conversation at all.
Do you put him top 10 in the Celtics?
Who? Tatum?
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, numbers-wise, he's undeniable.
Yeah.
But again, in this town, we're not like New Orleans or like Utah or something here. Like, championships.
There's 18 rings.
Yeah. Like, championships have to matter. So, yes, statistically, he already is. Mm-hmm. One of the greats all time. But it don't mean a ting if you ain't got that ring. You got to get it.
It's like you look up the list, right? And you'll see John Havlicek,
right.
Kuzis, Sam Jones, who has 10 rings, right? Like, you can't mess with that.
Bill Russell,
that's 1 or 2 with him and Bird, right? Then you think, like, I pull up, like, it was like Bill Sharman, averaged 21 points per game in the 50s, which is like a nuts number.
Right.
Won 4 rings. But there were 11 teams in the NBA at the time. So, with all respect to Bill Sharman and his family and those 4 rings he won for the Celtics, part of their first NBA title, 2 and 57, like, how do you not put Tatum in the top 10? And you know who gets into the conversation of top 10 if he gets a ring? Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, sure.
8 seasons, 6 Eastern Conference Finals, 10th all-time in points per game.
Sure he does.
9th in postseason points. 3rd all-time in 3 field goals made, right behind Tatum and Pierce.
Yeah.
9th in triple-doubles with 3. This is my favorite. Bird is number 1 with 59. Nuts.
Yeah.
But that's what Jaylen Brown ranks. And even think about what he's done in his evolution to Celtics. Came in as a 6th man. First time in the playoffs, played in 17 games. Earned his way to a 3-and-D guy. Was a role player. Was a number 3. Now a number 2. Not a number 2. A 1B, 1A.
Yeah.
That if he gets a ring, because of how talented he is, where he ranks in the all-time in just 8 seasons for this team, he moves into that top 10 conversation too.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But look, these guys have been linked together their whole careers for obvious reasons, and I don't think that's going to change when you start talking legacy stuff. I don't necessarily think we're going to, in history, separate these two probably the way we should. I think what's going to happen is you're going to judge them as a combo, as a duo. And they have an opportunity to become an all-time. Again, let's zoom out from the Celtics and just think big picture. They have an opportunity, Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum I'm talking about, to be an all-time great duo in the NBA.
Yeah.
Great 1-2 punch all time. If you can get multiple rings, you could become the greatest 1-2 punch of all time. So this is the kind of things legacy-wise that they're playing for.
And what we could see if Luka and Kyrie beat them.
Yeah.
That's Kyrie's second ring, his first without LeBron.
Sure.
This is the best offensive backcourt in
the NBA
by far. A lot of legacy
stuff. Yeah.
It's those
Luka,
two. And then what can they get another?
Yeah.
And they're doing in the era with the Jokic's, right? With the Giannis's, with the Tatums and Browns.
Sure.
It's a good point. It is legacy, and it is who they have to go through. It wasn't about the East for them.
Yeah.
But if the Mavs come out of the West, or the Timberwolves come out of the West,
young
both
Anthony
great
Edwards. I mean, you thought you already heard the Jordan comparisons with him. Let him get a ring this year. I mean, it's going to be nauseating. Look, I got a chance, even though it was the end, I did see Larry Bird's last stages of his career. He was still getting buckets, but he wasn't playing as many minutes. His back was just falling apart at the seams. But I did get a chance to watch him at least. You did not. Who's your favorite Celtic of all time, just personal, that you've watched? Is it Paul Pierce? Is it Tatum? Is it Brown?
I would go Jayson Tatum.
Okay.
As someone I literally watched him from when he came into the league and paid attention to him. And this was someone that I loved to watch before I even got to Boston, started working here.
Yeah.
It's when I go around the league, like some of my favorite players, like is a Giannis, is a Tatum, right? Mm-hmm. Is an Anthony Edwards. I always like watching Luka. Like, no duh, these are like the best players in the league. I would go, for me, it would be Tatum. And when you say that, though, I'm like, all right, what's the first name? Who's the first person that comes to mind? It would be a Paul Pierce, but also Rajon Rondo.
Rondo was a baller.
Throwback point guard, so smart, man. Couldn't shoot worth a lick, and it didn't matter what he could do defensively and how he can finish around the rim, and his playmaking ability. So, yeah, I'd go Tatum. I love watching him play, and it's not the prettiest. Like, he's not the most athletic. Like, Jaylen Brown's more athletic than Tatum, but Tatum's talent and skill is so refined. Mm-hmm. If he gets a consistent jump shot to add to it, a consistent 3-point jump shot, then that's when he really becomes a top 3 MVP. He's done everything else, though.
Yeah.
Playmaking, defense, a monster on the boards. Needs to play to his size.
Yep.
And needs to play to his confidence because it's not there all the way.
No doubt. What
about for you?
Well, it's Larry Bird.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the end, but it's still Larry Bird. I can't go anywhere else. For all the latest on the Celtics, check out Hold My Banner, full episode on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you follow us on all your social media accounts for all of our best content.